Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution in your Friday drive-by. Jeremy and I are going to give you a little something to think about, a little tool that can make you better going into the weekend. We want to marinate.
Friday! I'm so excited. Oh, what a busy week we've had.
What's that Cure song? Friday, I'm in love.
Oh, no.
I don't care what Monday, whatever. So I was thinking about this, Jeremy. Words have power. Did you know that?
I've heard that saying before, but I'm not convinced.
Okay. Why not? Oh, that was just your challenge for me to... that's a setup. That's what we call in show business a setup.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So I was thinking about how we throw around mental illness as a word nowadays. Like, it's a very popular thing to say. And I will give the disclaimer because we're going to get trolled on this because people like to take things we say out of context and then post weird comments on YouTube. So I will say I'm not making light of people that actually do have mental illness, and I'm not saying it's not a real thing. But I do think that we do a disservice by the way that we approach it. And sometimes, so like I was talking to some friends about this, and I was like, well, what is, like, why do you think you have mental illness? Like, what is it? And at the end of the day, it came down to that they felt like they had anxiety meeting new people and in new situations. And I was like, well, when I was younger, I had that same anxiety. Like, I didn't like meeting new people. I was nervous going into situations. And in fact, like, I feel like in this conversation that I was having, I'm probably worse than who I was having the conversation with because I don't really like crowds. Like, I don't like going into big crowds. I don't like being on crowded planes. I get claustrophobic. And I just thought, like, it's really weird that we give this thing a name and empower it. Like, when I was younger, like, it was something you had to get over to be successful and to be a part of society. Mm-hmm. And so even though you were nervous, you had to push through it, and it wasn't comfortable. But saying that you have mental illness makes you stop pushing because then you just pull back and you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to experience new things that are hard and tough and get me way outside of my comfort zone because I have mental illness.
So the labels that we attach and the words have power over us and the words that we accept. And we've given society a way to check out and not take responsibility to grow and be successful.
Yeah, I just think I think in some situations that we might be labeling something that is just a hard part of life. Mm-hmm. It's a hard part of growing, a hard part of becoming successful. And I was deathly afraid of public speaking, and I had to get over it. But it literally, the way I got over public speaking, was in literally a minute. Like, it was my buddy Big Mike, and we were in a mastermind, and everybody was congratulating him on this talk that he gave on tear sheets. And I was like, it's a form of advertising in tear sheet.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so what it is, it's like a newspaper that's torn out and then folded up, put in an envelope with a J letter that says, hey, look at this, Jeremy, look at this J. And it's a very effective way of doing direct mail, or it was years ago. And I said, I didn't know that you were in marketing. I thought your business was something else. And he goes, oh, I'm not. I'm just practicing public speaking. And I said, oh, I hate public speaking. Like, I get super nervous. And he just looked me straight in the eye and he goes, well, you better get over that because I've never seen anybody become successful that didn't know how to, speak in public. And I was just like, all right, you're right. I better get over it. And I just got over it. Like, I'm like, as much as I feel like I'm going to throw up, I'm going out there and I'm talking. And like, it was now I could care less because I've done it so many times and I've spoken in front of, huge crowds and, become pretty good at it. I'm more of a teacher than a preacher, but I'm definitely not nervous. I get excited now. I get excited to give. And, one thing that I learned about that too is when I was scared of public speaking, it was about me. Now I look at public speaking about how many of these people that I'm speaking to, can I inspire? Can I give them tools that they can become better? How can I impact them in a positive way? And when it's not about me anymore, it becomes a lot easier because I have a purpose bigger than myself, right? And so I think it's the same thing with giving a label to things of, oh, well, I'm not good at that. I'm not good.
I have the wrong. I'm not at the front desk. I'm in the wrong position, or I can't.
Yeah, or I don't have a title. I'm not the manager. You know. Well,
so
at any point you can step up and become the solution.
Absolutely. FAW. Find a way. Find a way. Do you know that I had one of the best steak dinners I've ever had last Friday night inside a restaurant?
During quarantine?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Find a way. I was hungry. I needed to eat. I had the whole restaurant to myself. It was really cool. It was awesome.
What are you talking about?
Well, I had to go help a customer out that we had fixed her car. And, this goes back to how I got my moonshine. But in giving her keys back, I was able to sit down and I had the entire...
She owns a restaurant.
She doesn't own it. I'm not saying her name. I don't want to get her in trouble. But there's ways. There's always a way. Find a way. Like, if I owned a restaurant right now, I would have a speakeasy going where you had to come to the back door and it was like 4 different knocks or whatever. And then you were able to usher it into this really quiet and you'd have the place to yourself. And I charge you like $2,500 for the meal, but it'd be the best meal that you've ever had. And I'd keep my cash flow going and, create a lot of other fun things, issues that would go against the government regulations right now. But there's ways that we can operate and be safe. But my point is this: find a way. So don't accept the labels. There's a way to win. Find a way.
Yeah, totally. So I hope that inspires you going into this weekend. And do us one favor and stay tuned for a little preview of what's coming up on Monday's big Service Drive Revolution. Next week on Service Drive Revolution, we have an exciting show for you today. We're going to talk about 3 ways to sell more with 0 sales objections. We have a special guest for that I'm really excited about. Why do 75% of customers that start off in a dealership end up going to independent shops?
She gave me something for our next in-studio appearance.
Glass of water?
You know what that is, right?
Is it moonshine? They call that rubbing alcohol.
You know, Christian doesn't really have any concept of time.
Hey, we don't want to focus on today.
Speaking of Christian, the Zoom hacker, when you say all the nuts come out, you mean the crazy customers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that your demographic out there, though?
Yes. So
read between the lines, Jeremy. I hear that crystal meth is good stuff. It's like a gateway to success. I've never seen anybody that tries heroin and then their life gets better.
I think for George Bush it worked, though. He had 2 terms as president, so...
Man, that's strong, Jeremy.
It's the moonshine talking. Another conspiracy theory brought to you from Jeremy O'Neill. Can't even go stand on the beach without getting harassed now.
Do you think that that's a conspiracy?
We're not going to talk about that.
Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution's Drive-By. I hope it gives you something to think about over the weekend and inspires some new ideas and hopefully some new results. If you have any questions for the big show, go ahead and post them below in the comments. We'll be looking out for them and we'll answer them on the show. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.